In today's video, we are doing a macro and short-term analysis discussing exactly what needs to happen for the buyers to step back in and push the price to a new all-time high, and what would happen if they fail to do so. We're discussing the macro charts, the total altcoin market cap, the total market cap, and Bitcoin short-term price action in extensive detail. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we are taking a look at the macro and the short-term price action, going over the daily candle close, exactly what Bitcoin is currently doing, our targets and expectations, the altcoin market cap, and much, much more. Before we get into it, smash the like button, hit the comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, click the pinned comment to join our VIP channel, contact me by clicking my name, view our 50+ month trading track record, or watch a 10-minute video showing you inside the channel. Again, you'll get access to two channels: the main VIP group where we post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, and exclusive analysis, as well as our group chats with our general chat, our trading chart education chat, our daily video help, trade setup, news, and of course our community trade chat. If you were interested in joining over 700 members, check that out guys, and we'll see you in the channel. Let's dive over to the analysis. So as we can see, over the past 2 or 3 days since our prior video on Tuesday, we have seen the market correct a little bit. We saw Bitcoin come down from that $102,000 resistance, and we have seen the altcoin market suffer a little bit of a rejection after retesting and rejecting from this prior uptrending support. If you followed our prior video, we told you that we took a whole bunch of swing positions on altcoins at the exact bottom of this correction, and that we explicitly stated in the video we were selling a significant proportion of those positions at a large profit at the point of which Bitcoin was retesting its resistance. Literally, as we were retesting that resistance, we were making the video, and in the video we told you we were taking profits because we saw that Bitcoin was retesting a major resistance and the RSI had not broken out, and we saw the total altcoin market cap retesting a potential rejection point, which was that prior uptrend. And thankfully, we were able to secure those profits, and the market has now seen a correction. So congratulations if you paid attention. As we mentioned, we'll be discussing this in more detail today, as well as the total market cap, the macro charts, including that daily candle close, and the short-term price action, discussing where Bitcoin will be likely to move to next. Let's move over to our market data. Taking a look at the liquidation and volume here, we can see overall, the market is quite dead right now. In fact, we're down 40% in 24-hour trading volume at 183 billion, which is relatively low for a weekday, and down 61% in 24-hour liquidations at 187 million, with the majority of those liquidations, around 2/3, coming from long positions. Moving over to the DXY have seen a pretty brutal weekly candle over here. All in all, guys, while we sustain above this horizontal level of support, this is now a support, there is a potential for reversals back upwards for the DXY, but we have seen now a failure to sustain above that prior high. This is now going to be a commencing downtrend, so we've established the beginning of a downtrend. If we lose this next level of support, which is sitting at the 107 region, we will likely see an extended continuation lower for the DXY. Now, this move here could set up a rally for the S&P 500 and for Bitcoin, so we do need to be aware of that potential I would say, that potential outcome, which would be if the DXY does correct below 107, we could see some strength move back to the risk asset market. That hasn't happened yet, but it is a possibility. Now, while we remain above this support, there is a chance we continue higher, but we are going to be taking a short-term bearish view on the S&P 500 while we remain underneath this prior high. If we break that prior high, then we are watching for continuations upwards. So now in decision range, this is a zone of consolidation and decision. We drop below support, we expect lower. We break below that, above that resistance, we expect higher. And again, the consequence on the risk asset market will be inverse to the direction of which the DXY moves on a general basis. The S&P 500 is looking okay. Again, it is looking like it is setting itself up for another move toward the upside, but it hasn't really triggered that move yet. For us to be confident that move will play out and play out with a degree of strength, we want to see this RSI break. This downtrending diagonal resistance on the RSI marks the bearish divergence we have established since July 2024. Again, this is again representing decreasing momentum with rising price. This is a bearish divergence suggesting that selling pressure has been developing, or another way you could put it, the buyers are losing strength. We have seen the price action reject numerous times from this trend line, and we are seeing the price action on the RSI developing along this trend line. For us to be confident that the buyers have fully exhausted the sellers over here and are back in control, we would want to see that RSI break through. That would be indicative of a positive momentum shift and will massively increase the probabilities for a directional continuation upwards. So it does look like we are seeing some absorption here of the selling pressure. We are steadily rising still, even though momentum has been falling here. It's a decent sign, but we need to see that momentum flip positive to be confident that we get that absorption we need and we get that momentum shift that is required to push the price higher. So all in all, it is shaping up for a potential continuation, but we haven't really got out of the woods yet. We're not in the clear yet. There is still a potential that this does exhaust and correct lower. So we need to be very much aware until we break that RSI trend line. This is still going to be a zone of indecision. Let's move over, guys. As we mentioned, we are taking a look at the short term. We are taking a look at the daily candle. We are taking a look at the total market cap and the altcoin market cap in today's video. So before we get into it, make sure to go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. These are the exchange links down below. The exchanges I personally trade on. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15 to 45% based on your trading volume. Again, this is a massive incentive to use these exchanges. Go ahead, you'll support yourself in your trading journey and you'll support me in making this content. Sign up with the links below and we'll see you back in just a moment. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and jump back in, and we are taking a look first and foremost at the total market cap and the altcoin market, and then we'll jump over to Bitcoin. So first and foremost, the altcoin market cap is just a representation of the entirety of cryptocurrency. It's a good guide to to get an indication of whether or not cryptocurrency as a market is bullish, is bearish, is in an uptrend, is going to break out, is going to break down. These bigger, broader questions we can generally find answers to when we're looking at the total market cap. Now, when we're looking at the total market cap, we are looking at two things. We are looking at number one, our horizontal levels, and number two, our momentum, and of course, our historical patterns. The patterns we have seen out play in prior cycles from a structural perspective and from a cycle perspective. Taking a look at our prior cycle, we saw, of course, the 2018 high. We had the 2018 high act as a level of resistance, and that level became a level of support, which actually marked the bottom in 2022. But upon the breakout for the first time of this level, we saw a significant rally for the total market, around a 40% rally, followed by a equally significant correction of around about 20 to 30%. After that correction was absorbed, after the sellers were absorbed, we eventually saw the price action rally upwards into what we all know to be the 2021 cycle into the 2021 top. If we take a look at the current price action, we are seeing a very similar scenario. I'm not saying identical, but it is quite similar. We of course have got our 2021 high, we have got a breakout of the 2021 high, we saw a significant rally of around 30%, we have seen an equally significant pullback of around 25%, and we are currently retesting that 2021 high. Now there are a few warning signs I want to mention. The first one being we do have a weekly bearish divergence over here on the total market cap. Of course, we've got our momentum shift indicators printing red sell signals as well, which historically have been relatively accurate in projecting directional continuations. Again, we have got rising price action against falling momentum. This is going to be an initial warning sign, and if not absorbed, could result in an extended continuation when coupled with a structural deviation breakdown from the 2021 high. So what we are watching very closely here, and this is incredibly important, we are watching for how the price action reacts to that 2021 high horizontal level. If we drop below this region and start closing candles underneath, it is very possible we could see macro continuations downward for the broader cryptocurrency market, for Bitcoin and the altcoin market. It's highly likely we enter a high time frame downtrend for the first time since we entered this macro uptrend, since breaking that wedge back in 2023. However, if we are able to sustain above this horizontal level, cryptocurrencies still has hope for a continuation toward the upside. These are things we need to pay attention to, as we are getting, again, split and indecisive expressions through our technicals and our structural levels. On one side of the coin, we are seeing exhaustion, we are seeing near deviation, we are seeing bearish divergences, we are seeing setups for continuations towards these moving averages. On the other hand, we are seeing support resistance flips. We are seeing the price sustain after breakouts. We are seeing demand build at this $90,000 region. So we are in this indecision zone. Now we want to zoom out a little bit. That indecision zone comes back to that daily range we've talked about almost every day for weeks, and we'll come back and discuss that in a second, which is why we've gone on and on about this range being so important, because directional breakdowns or up from these ranges will really determine the macro expectations for not only Bitcoin, but for the cryptocurrency market as a whole, as we are at this major point of confluence. But the most important thing I want to go ahead and take away from this, I want to show you guys what I believe at least, is that this 2021 high point, if the buyers want to stay in control, if we want to see macro continuations upwards, this level is absolutely significant and it needs to be able to hold. If we do not hold, this bearish divergence, this negative momentum starting to develop, could develop into a stronger downtrend. We'll talk about that in a second as well. Let's move over to our altcoin market. Now, the altcoin market is in a similar position. Let's start on the weekly chart. We have got one important level on the weekly chart, and that is going to be this level right here. This is essentially the dead cat bounce high resistance, the $840,000 level. Provided we remain above $840,000 on the weekly chart, it is very possible the altcoin market can continue through 1.1 trillion. Okay, and if we break through 1.1 trillion, we will see the next leg up for the altcoin market. We'll enter that next leg of the altcoin season. Okay, essentially above that high, we go parabolic. Okay, that's the easiest way to put it. Now, while we sustain above this horizontal support, there is a potential we do see that move upwards. If we drop below here, it is highly likely we see a macro downtrend develop for the altcoin market, as the total market cap will be breaking below that macro high time frame horizontal level. So you can see how all these levels for the total market cap, the altcoin market cap, and if we go to Bitcoin in a second, for even Bitcoin, these levels are all lining up with each other. There's confluence at all these levels across all time frames and across all different markets over here. Very important stuff. So let's talk about Bitcoin here, and I want to start on the bearish. Now I want to get the bearish stuff done first and then move over to what's good and the bullish stuff and how we can continue higher. So as we mentioned, if we do drop below the 2021 high, we will most likely enter a high time frame downtrend. If we take a look at Bitcoin over here, the prior retest of our $92,000, $90,000 region, essentially was daily range low, resulted in the total market cap dropping very momentarily below that major high time frame support we just mentioned, which was the 2021 high. However, there was another very important level that we dropped below as a consequence of Bitcoin wicking into that $90,000 region. And that, of course, is going to be the 62.09 on the RSI. This is going to be the last 4 times we dropped a weekly pivot below the 62.09 on the RSI, which is, of course, when the RSI closes below the 62.09 level on the weekly chart, we saw a negative 55% pullback, a negative 78% pullback, a negative 10% pullback, and a negative 24% pullback. And that is only the last 4 times. We can go back in history and show you numerous more occasions where we have seen double-digit corrections upon breaking below 62.09. Now we know that a loss of the range low will result in a loss of 62.09, the total market cap 2021 high, and the altcoin market cap $840 billion support. 3 points of confluence there with our technical confirmation with a deviation from the high. We are very likely going to enter a high time frame downtrend, a macro downtrend, which is going to be at least a 10% correction for Bitcoin as a consequence of the loss of 62.09, at least a double-digit correction. That will likely result in the top of this cycle and a correction into these lows before we then establish a uptrend again, or whatever we do moving forward. So it's very important we are able to sustain the levels we are about to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The key levels we need to sustain above to avoid all of that bearishness is going to be the daily range low. That simply is this red horizontal line. You can see there's a level of support with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels, 6 retests of this region over the last 1.5 to 2 months. This horizontal level is a place of massive demand, and we need to sustain above. You can see that if we were to lose this horizontal level, we would enter the low historical resistance range, which is simply a range where historical horizontal trading volume has been proportionately lower than that of which we'll see in these consolidation ranges, which result in the volume requirements for the price action to move from our horizontal level to the next horizontal level and the next horizontal level to be significantly lower, which results in bursts of significant volatility upon entering these ranges. So therefore, to put it in layman's terms, if we enter this range from the top side down with bearish momentum, we would likely see aggressive downward volatility play out as a consequence, which will result in all the bearish things we just talked about happen. Now, on the positive side, guys, if we see that happen on the upside, we enter price discovery. Now, price discovery is essentially a low historical resistance range. We have got no trading volume on a horizontal basis at these levels, which mean we run into mass volatility to the upside upon breaking out. So what does Bitcoin need to do to break this high? Because this high is what needs to break for us to enter the next leg up for not only the altcoin market, not only for Bitcoin, but the entirety of cryptocurrency as a whole. We need to break this region. So let's discuss on the short term now exactly what needs to happen for that to develop. This is going to be our short-term chart. We can see we have got our daily downtrend. This is a massive downtrend here, spanning back from the 20th of January, retesting twice, 31st of January, and is extending. We have got confluence with our downtrend on our RSI. We need to see a break of this RSI trend line. A break of this RSI trend line increases the likelihood of a retest of this downtrend, and if we break this downtrend, that is when we are going to be expecting strong continuations. We're looking 115, 120,000 for Bitcoin. Essentially, we break this downtrend with the RSI shift. I would consider it highly likely that we clear those prior all-time high levels at 108 to 110,000. So that is what we're watching for the buyers to step back in. Until that happens, until we get that break with the RSI, we are going to be cautious as we are still in this daily range. Remember, looking at the weekly chart, we have also got that weekly range we are paying very close attention to. The weekly range we are sitting between, if we bring these red lines down, is the weekly high and the weekly low, which are these two levels here. We can still see we are consolidating within that region. So provided we hold within this region, the directional break up or down is likely not going to occur. But when we break that weekly high in conjunction with everything else we discussed in the short term, it is highly likely we see continuation. So there is nothing we can really say or do now. This is a video of preparation. This is a video of understanding the consequences of these significant directional continuations and exactly what to watch out for those conditions to actually play out. This is a video about preparation. Remember, sometimes the best trade is no trade. You should be patient and selective in your decision making, particularly when the climate is uncertain. I would like to end the video with saying we do have some major economic news coming up. This is primarily going to be, I think, even tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. So about 32 hours from now, we have got our NFP data. And then, of course, on the 12th, we have got our CPI data. So pay attention, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you tomorrow. See you then.